because they so much of a lady. Now, let's look at this. Isaiah 3:19. The chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, and it says mufflers, mufflers. Don't ask me what that meant. Isaiah 3:20. The bonnets and the ornaments of the legs, and the handbands, and the tablets, and the earrings. So what he's saying is, all these things that you're used to wearing, all of that fancy prancing that you used to do, I'm fixing to take that away from you. Because he's saying, I'm cursing you with this baldness. And I'm not cursing the whole entire head with baldness, similar to when someone is receiving chemo, they will lose all their hair. He didn't say the whole head, it's the forehead. And if you notice, when you see these African American women, what do you see? You see all this forehead. And you have to say, well, what brought this on? When your grandmothers, your great-grandmothers didn't have this. Why is this? Well, let's continue. Isaiah 3:21, rings and nose jewelry. Isaiah 3:22. And you can find this starting with roughly around Isaiah 3:16 on down to 3:24. Isaiah 3:22. In fact, it goes down further. It goes down to Isaiah 4:1. Isaiah 3:22. The changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles, and the wimples, and the crisping pins. I don't know what a wimple is. We knew what Wimple Alan Wimpy was. He was a guy that liked hamburgers. You know, Popeye's protege. You know, Wimpy always liked hamburgers. That's so don't ask me what that means, but I could look it up. Isaiah 3:23. The glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. So what he's doing is he's stripping this off you. All the shoes, all the tinkling ornaments, all the jewelry, all the fine clothing. And what he's talking about is these women, many times, you know, they're almost like slender, straight up and down. They've got the veil, so it's that fine linen that's kind of blowing in the wind. They've got the earrings on. They've got the jewelry and the ankle bracelets and the things that are clean, clean, clean. They're happening, right? Well, let's continue. Isaiah 3:24. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. Instead of a girdle, a rent. Instead of well-set hair, baldness. And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Now, that's a whole lot to digest, and you says, break that down. What does that mean? Okay, you used to smell like perfume, and now you stink. Honestly, I tell a lot of, well, I've told my daughters, I don't want to lie and say I've told a lot of women, I just keep my mouth shut. But there was a time when you women wore perfume that really smelled good. My grandmothers always used to wear sweet smelling perfume, even my mother. But now this new generation, you're putting on perfume that we can smell before you even come in the building, and it stinks, and nobody can tell you anything. If we did, oh my goodness, did you hear what he said? I stink. The perfume stinks. Doesn't smell good. It's that cheap stuff. Quit going to the dollar store buying dollar store perfume and makeup, and then wonder why you're looking crazy. Okay. Instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well-set hair, baldness. Well, we already understand that you're losing your hair because of a certain reason. And the reason is that Yahuwah has cursed you. He did not curse all women. He only cursed a certain group of women. And something to mention, we understand the word Zion means that we're talking about the children of Yisrael, and many of them would refer to them as Jews. The white Jewish women, you don't see them with being bald here. but you see the black Jewish women being bald. Why is that? And you know that they're black Jewish women or black Zion, I won't call it Zionist, but black Zion or children of Israel. Why? Because it says here, I have smite your forehead with baldness as a curse. And what race of women who predominantly are losing the front of their hair? Black women. So what does that mean? I'm looking at a group of chosen women who don't even know they're chosen, because the minister will not tell you. Why? Because then he has to uplift you. You know how they pass the hat. Come on, brother, let's pass the hat today for the children of Israel. And then they send it overseas. Well, they then would have to take some of that money and give it to those in the church. Because from Isaiah 3:16, we can look in the black church and see that we see children of Israel. How? Because the scripture says, your forehead is bald. How? When you were born with a full head of hair. It is not because of a disease. Now, women who have a disease and women who have cancer is a totally different subject. In fact, my Aunt Mary beat cancer. And I'm really blessed that Yahuwah saved her. And she's my best friend, one of my good friends. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about a curse that he's implemented upon you because of your behavior, because of your way. And a man who understands scripture is going to look at a woman and say, well, wait a minute, she's got that weave pulled forward. Okay, so when she takes that weave off and the hairline is back here, you're saying, okay, she's been cursed. I need to get up out of here. She's been cursed by Yahuwah. And let me tell you why. There's a language. All right. Also, when it says that, when it also, my Bible will say that you're going to be wearing sackcloth. You used to wear fine linen, but now you wear sackcloth. A lot of you are saying, well, what is sackcloth? When I grew up, women predominantly wore dresses. And then there became this movement, oh girl, we need to be changing and wearing pants. Well, sackcloth is jean pants. Jeans were originally made from potato sacks. And then they would dye them. And the guy says, man, this is good material. And that was the guy that created, I think, Levi jeans or whatever. But he took sackcloth, which is potato sack, dyed them blue, and called them jeans. That's sackcloth. So what it's stating is that you will no longer wear fine linen, this beautiful veil, and these beautiful dresses. You're going to wear sackcloth, jean pants. And it says you're going to stink. Some of those jeans that you're wearing too tight that you got to jump in and jump out, I wouldn't want to smell them when you take them off. That's the for real deal. Okay, Isaiah 3:25. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. Many of your African American men are being murdered in the streets by guns. Whether they're killing each other, whether it's the police, the government, this is what it means by dying by the sword. That your mighty men are going to die by the sword. And that's where it shows that the African American men are dying in the streets. Okay, Isaiah 3:26. And her gates shall lamentate and mourn, and she, being desolate, shall sit upon the ground. Meaning that you won't have a man. You're going to be single, and you're going to be mourning the death of these men. It says you're just going to sit there on the ground. But let's get into Isaiah 4:1. And Isaiah 4:1 is going to explain something. In that day, 7 women shall take hold of a man, saying, we'll eat of our own bread, wear our own apparel or clothes. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. You say, what does that mean? It means, and okay, where will a man walk into a location and 7 women will grab him? Not in the club. If a man could walk in the club and have 1 woman grab him, he'd be like, man, this place is happening, dude. Yeah, man, we got the women up in here. It's not happening in the club. It happens in church. Soon as he hit the door, girl, there go a good man. The only problem is, women, most of us men do not look for a woman in church. And the reason is, we know this is where you'll have your good women, but you have a lot of what we call prostitutes, street holes, or whatever up in the church also. See, what they're doing is, instead of you separating yourself from these booty shakers and whatever else, they're coming in and they're binding with you. So now we cannot determine the difference. We just have decided, oh, we won't even check there. Because the first thing we'll say, church woman? No, man, you can't get no woman from church. Even a minister, Pastor Darby, has even made this statement, is that it's how these women who are up in the club Saturday night, they're up in church Sunday morning. Okay, they're mixing with the women who were not in the club the night before. So now we can't tell the difference. So where 7 women will grab hold of a man is church. When they say we'll eat of our own food, wear our own apparel, but let us be called by your name, let's run this down to you. What race of women will speak in this manner? I don't need no man. I buy my own clothes. I got my own 401k. I got my job. I got my degree. I got my own car. I just like to get married. Okay. A woman who speaks this way is 9 times out of 10 has a fornicating spirit. So she's been out fornicating and I don't need no man, but she's not a virgin, that's for sure. You can guarantee that. She's been out fornicating. Now she's getting older and it's time to clean it up. Well, she needs to marry a man to clean up her behavior, see. So under this marriage, she's able to conceal her past. This is why it's so important as these women get older, they're ready to settle down and get married. Yeah, to clean up their fornicating spirit. Clean up that behavior. And many men who marry these women end up divorcing them because you find out it's not going anywhere. So how do we identify daughters of Zion, daughters of Israel? We identify them by one, the ones who have been cursed are going to have this forehead all bald. And 9 times out of 10, they're trying to pull that, what they call a weave. Back in the day, Grandma called it a wig. But they're trying to pull it forward to cover up the nakedness, the baldness, the curse. Also, what do we hear these women say? I don't need no man. I can buy my own clothes. I can feed myself. I can buy you dinner. I got my own car, my own 401k. But I just like to get married. Okay, we know that from the language and from the look, that's a cursed woman. Get away from her. Also, let me explain something to you. It says a burning. What does that mean? And that's in Scripture. And you'll hear this, a hair of burning, and another one will just mention a burning. What does that mean? You will hear these black women say, or African American women say, they'll make this statement, girl, what happened to your hair? Chemical burn. Chemical burn. Wow, what happened to your hair? Chemical burn. Okay, that's hair burning. So her excuse for the loss of this hair, in her mind, is from the use of chemicals. But she does not know if she would just open up Scripture. The Holy Scripture is what it's referred to. Or you call it the Bible, I call it the Ivory. Same. And read Isaiah 3:16 and then look in the mirror. She's going to find 2 things. 1, I am a chosen one. And 2, I have been cursed by Yahuwah. This is Anthony Shoulders for No Women in Heaven. You be safe and take care. Thank you very much.